There's nothing gamers love more than going to war over the goatee. Once a year, in early December, the forces of gaming power converge to bestow one coveted Keighley upon the elect. A game predestined for absolute greatness. Cloaked figures under the cover of darkness meet to pull the strings of the cosmos. To pick their nominees, the council chooses 6 AAA prestige games based on the impressiveness of their marketing budget, brand recognition, and general appeal to casual and hardcore gamers.
I don't know where to start. I'll take that one right there. She got to come.
Oh, yes. She's very nice.
She is nice, but I hurt my back and my neck, and I need a little bit more massage, So I'm gonna take her in the pink, too.
This year, your entries are A Plague Tale Requiem, Horizon Forbidden West, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, God of War Ragnarok, and Elden Ring. You'll notice that 4 of those are joke entries provided by the Benevolent Council to give everyone a big laugh. Of course, the game can have no lower than an 85 score on Metacritic. Though that does not mean that the game with the greatest critical acclaim always wins. Take 2018 for example, when one of the greatest video games ever queefed lost to a good but far less groundbreaking video game in God of War. Eat shit, Balrog. From there, they gather data from social platforms to determine which of those 5 would anger the greatest amount of annoying people, and they go with that one. But what about the individual? When you don't have the infinite resources and power of Keighley's Dark Council, how should you determine your goatee?
We'll see. I don't know. Do you own any NFTs?
Beheadings, Punxsutawney Phil, and Christmas lights. These are all the same thing. They are rituals that ground us to the here and now and give us a chance to reflect on the passing of time. Game of the Year is the perfect time for that sort of contemplation. A time to remember where we were and what was happening when we played the games that we're now fans of. For example, Tunic I absolutely adored, and it has the most listenable soundtrack of any game this year. Even long after finishing the game, I'll remember the dozens of hours that I spent listening to that soundtrack while doing bullshit adult work.
I like this new generation of music.
Norco was a beautiful little nugget that came out of the sludge of itch.io and hit me right in my sweaty Louisiana heart. This game is about the cancerous corporations of the Southern Boot and the heart of the people who've survived their homes being pillaged for profit. A warm balm for our broken modern age. But then there's Elden Ring. When Elden Ring came out, I was still streaming daily on Twitch. In fact, I had recently relaunched my stream with a new schedule and focus after I'd gotten extremely burnt out and quit in late 2021. For nearly 3 years prior to that, I was extremely committed to streaming. I rarely missed an opportunity to do so, and I would fart out 5 to 8 hour streams like they were nothing.
Why?
I had found some great times and a tiny bit of streaming success, but not to the degree that I was working toward.
I did it!
After the break in January 2022, I got back on the horse and started a fresh playthrough of the Dark Souls trilogy to build excitement both in myself and the community for the soon-coming Elden Ring. Those playthroughs were a ton of fun and had me even more excited for Elden Ring's release than I already was. Then, the big day, February 25th, Elden Ring launched, and I streamed that bitch with more excitement in my balls than any other game that I had streamed the launch day of before. But my stream was dead. Deader than it was even before the Dark Souls trilogy playthrough. No! Because of that shift in viewership and my admittedly growing boredom with the medium, the channel fizzled out. Adorable. Goodbye. I did one more stream of Elden Ring and threw in the towel. I continued playing Elden Ring by myself, but with streaming, I had had enough. After a burnout, a hiatus, relaunching my daily stream, and then going on a 2-ish month hype build for Elden Ring, I was just kind of done. But if I've learned anything from From Software over the years, it's that in life, you either win or you learn. You only lose the moment you give up. The bittersweetness of this story is that I fucking love Elden Ring. It's pretty much exactly what I wanted an open world From Software game to be, and I truly got lost in that universe in a way I hadn't experienced in a few years. And for the first time since I started streaming, I did it all alone. The lonely persistence of what Elden Ring demands connected with me in that time, playing through it all by myself, leaving the stream behind. Experiencing the bleak beauty of the lands between in this context made it make sense for me more than I think it would have otherwise, and I was inspired to try making videos again. To this day, I haven't really talked to anyone about my time in Elden Ring. I've intentionally avoided conversations about it because it represents a really weird time of my life. To be clear, I have a fuck ton to say on the game, and that's definitely a video someday. But my point right now is that game conversations are always burdened with these tertiary experiences that we don't normally vocalize. But I think that's what makes up the meat of how much we enjoy a game. As much as I may not like it, I have complicated and negative associations inextricably linked to my memories of one of the biggest and best games of 2022. Now, in no way does this affect my personal judgment of Elden Ring's quality. The game will live and die on its own merits. But what it does affect is how much it emotionally resonates. That part can't really be prevented or manicured. Elden Ring will always stand as a reminder of the shitty way my daily stream ended. You know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna say it like this. Elden Ring will stand as a reminder of being done with daily streaming. The stream's end didn't happen to me. I chose to move on. Alright, bye! I've been banging this drum for roughly 600 years now, but it bears remembering that there's no objectivity in game reviews or Game of the Year. Opinions are so subjective that if you're sleepy and a little dehydrated while fighting these dudes, you're gonna have a bad time. And you may legitimately like Elden Ring less than the next guy. And that's fine. We're all just bags of pus and meat. You can't expect everyone's life to be perfectly shaped for your opinions. Who gives a shit if your favorite skin-wrapped bone satchel doesn't like your Game of the Year as much as you? When it comes down to deciding your Game of the Year, you can have conversations about how cool this boss was or the ways the game fails at X, Y, and Z. But I think the real shit that makes the games that we identify with is that emotional resonance that we don't really have control over. It's at the intersection of a great game and that $70 therapy session that we find the games good enough to be considered a Game of the Year. Now this right here is a video you're going to want to watch.
We hope your adventure with the game